Hello YouTube, this is Canadian folk singer Jesse Ferguson, and today I'm bringing you an overview of all of my musical instruments. So, hopefully it won't take too long, but I have a lot of instruments, being a musician for most of my life. So, first I will start off with my main instrument, which is guitar. And the very first guitar I ever bought myself was this one. It's made by Washburn. And the model number is D10E, an inexpensive Washburn guitar. I've had that one for about 25, possibly 30-ish years. No, more like 25. And the maker's mark has worn off the headstock, but it does the job for, you know, barbecues and bonfires and things like that. A beater guitar, basically. I don't play it much anymore, but I keep it around for that purpose. Second, I have my son's guitar, which he doesn't really use, but I bought it for him anyway. And it's a half scale, so it's easier for kids to learn. Doesn't sound tremendous, but you know, it'd be sufficient for learning on. This one's made by Oscar Schmidt, which is by Washburn, and the model number is OGHS/TBI. So he managed to bust the back of it. I don't know if you can see, he broke the neck by stepping on it. He's had it for a few years now, but I managed to repair it. Next, we come to my main guitar, which is a Epiphone Masterbilt, and the model number is DR-500. So, Epiphone Masterbilt, I had this little decal made and I put it on so that I could brand my videos when I post them. And the reason I got this guitar is because it was the most inexpensive one I could find that has a solid top. So everything inside is all solid wood, no plywood. And it also has a decent pickup so that whenever I plug in to play at bars and restaurants and so on, I'm all set there. What did I spend on that one? I think it was about $600 or $700, something like that. So a good deal for a solid wood guitar. As I mentioned, guitar is my main instrument. So most of the time, 95% of the time, I'm playing guitar if I'm just practicing or so on. I do have one electric guitar, which is made by Samick. And this is a signature series one, which is Greg Bennett. So Samick is the brand. I inherited this guitar. I have plugged it in once. It does work. I don't play electric guitar much, but I may do so again in the future, potentially on certain recording projects where I might want to have an electric guitar lead. The next instrument I play the most would be mandolin. I get a lot of questions about this mandolin. It's a vintage Hondo mandolin, and I can't give much more information than that. It's at least 25 years old, possibly 30. We bought it used when my father bought it for me back when I was a little kid. I wasn't much interested in playing it back in those days, but there you have it. So it's Hondo brand mandolin. There's a sticker on the back that says HM6AM. I don't know if that's a sort of an inspector's signature for someone who inspected it, or if that's the model number. But at any rate, you wouldn't be able to get this exact one anymore unless you can find a used one. I am quite happy with the sound of it. The action is not the easiest I've played in terms of how easy it is to press the strings down. But that's the next instrument I play most often. Next down the chopping block in terms of how much I use it would be my Bodhran. Some people say Bodhran, some people say just frame drum. You can call it what you like. I say Bodhran, I've always said that. Some people say it's wrong, some people say it's right. This one is made by Bridget Drums, just like the name Bridget. And it's a tunable Bodhran. So it has a separate ring on the inside that you can adjust with screws to make the skin either tighter or looser, which is good whenever the humidity changes in the environment. This little stick you hit it with is called a tipper. Mine is made by Sean McCann of Great Big Sea. This is to his specifications. I don't know if he actually makes them himself, I doubt it. And I also have one that I made out of barbecue skewers tied together. A lot of these instruments I have tutorials on how to play them, if you're interested. Next for drums, I have a couple of djembes, which are little African hand drums. I gather they're played also in some other countries. I'm not sure the origin, there's no maker's mark on these ones. I got this one at an African import store and this one at Winners, I believe. So let's just have a little sample on how those sound. Nice booming sound on that one, although bugs came out of the rim whenever I first purchased it. This little rim that's folded over, there were some bug eggs in there obviously. This little one, obviously not as deep, but it's fun to have too. Next instrument is one that I inherited, which is a zither. German instrument, if memory serves me. Similar to an auto harp. This one's not in tune at all. It's an antique specimen and I don't have any knowledge of how to tune it or to play it. Maybe someday I will. It's got some interesting paint job on it. I inherited that from a family member. Next instrument would be my violin, which was a gift from my father. There's no actual maker's mark, it just says copy of Stradivarius, which is a common thing to find in violins, and made in Germany. So it appears to be a German-made violin. Sounds alright. I'm not a great violin player. I take it out usually once a year and just noodle around on it. Let's see if I can get it. So as you can see, I'm not a great violin player. I have fooled around with it sometimes in the past where I got half decent, enough that I could, put it on a track with a recording, but generally speaking, not my forte. Next I've got a ukulele made by Mahalo, not sure how you say it. It's one of those cheap ones you can get for about 30 bucks at your local music store. And it does the job. Who can name that melody? And doesn't sound great, but the main reason I got it was so that I could have something really small to put in my bag whenever I go off to, say for example, I got it in college so that I could go study down by the river or something like that, and I could just throw this in my bag when I wanted a break. I could take it out and sing a couple of songs. And the price is right. Next I have my kalimba, or thumb piano. I got this in Florida. And obviously you play it with your thumbs. Made from some kind of large seed. Some people say it's a coconut, but it doesn't. It looks too thin to be a coconut to me. Maybe if you know what it's made out of, you can put in the comments. Next are my harmonicas. Generally speaking, I play Hohner brand harmonicas. The one I have in the holder now is a Suzuki brand, which I don't like as much. And I also have an antique one, I believe. It says USA Zone Germany. I must put it back into the ancient past. It's more of a kid's novelty harmonica. But my main bread and butter are the Hohner brand, which are made in Germany. And they're not cheap. They're about $25 a piece, and you have to get one for every key, obviously, that you want to sing in. But I play those quite often, and obviously with this little holder I can play guitar and play harmonica at the same time. Next is an instrument that I made myself. This is a mountain or Appalachian Dulcimer, similar to what some people call a Tennessee music box. I have a whole video on how to make one of these if you're interested. It's not 100% in tune right now. But you get a kind of a droning effect as you play on this thing. Don't play it a whole lot anymore, but it was fun to make, and I did have fun playing it in a couple of videos and so on. To get the tuning perfect, or the intonation, to make the notes come out perfectly on pitch, it's pretty hard to do. I was just doing it with some, what do you call this, paperclip wire. So I cut up some wire from paper clips to make the frets, and I just used my digital tuner and slid the frets up until it came out to about the right note. So it's not perfect, but it was fun to make. Next is my glockenspiel, which is made by Angel brand, Japanese, I believe. And this is the model AX-52N2. So not to be confused with a xylophone, it is a glockenspiel. An expensive one. And I like laying down a few little notes here and there on albums that I record, occasionally if it requires a little bit of a fill. Has a nice sound, and to my ear it always sounds on pitch, and they're relatively inexpensive. I believe 75 bucks, something like that is what we paid. That's Canadian dollars. I'm Canadian. Had a lot of fun with that for the price of it. Next we come to my little box of assorted goodies. I have a sort of a music catch-all basket here that I keep in my office/music room. A few different shakers. Got a cool skull one. And then a couple other Jim Dunlop eggs. Nice to have some shakers, particularly for kids if you're trying to get them into playing along with you. Have a variety of cool little percussion instruments. This one is a little frog, or toad. Again, I got that from an African import store somewhere. And you rub the spines in the back and it makes a croaking sound. Or you can use it as like a woodblock/cowbell kind of thing. That's appeared on a few of my tracks. As have my rhythm bones, which are just two flat pieces of wood basically. You hold them like this and you rock it back and forth. Little practice with those. Cheap addition to your music kit. I've got a variety of tin whistles, or penny whistles as some people call them. These are all made by Generation, which is a British brand. I've got a little G, 2 Ds, and 1 C. And obviously those come in on a couple of my CDs. Couple of other woodwinds, I guess you call them, even though these ones are not made of wood. I have a Yamaha brand fife. Don't know the model number on that one. I bought that a long time ago. That's been on a few of my CDs. Actually, I do have a model number here. YRF-21. Made in Japan, a Yamaha fife. I've got a generic recorder made by Aulos. Haven't really played this. My wife got this in Teachers College for learning how to teach music to kids, I guess. Not my main instrument, as you can tell. I've got a Jew's harp, or juice harp as some people call it. Tambourine. That's a Rocker brand tambourine. Next we have one of these things. Don't know what that's called. But variety of little percussion instruments. And that's about it. So, there you have it. Jesse Ferguson, my music collection of instruments, that is. Hope you found that interesting. I have videos on how to play a variety of these different instruments, including guitar, mandolin, Bodhran, djembe, etc. Those are the main ones, I guess. And I hope you found that interesting, and I'll catch you on my next video.